The Bit 16, you've never seen a review like this. Weird old games you cannot tame, this world that you miss. SNES Man is the champion, he is 16-bit. SNES Man is the champion, he is 16-bit.
Hello, my name is SNES Man. Today I'm going to do a quick review of an old platformer, Super Adventure Island. So without further ado, let's get down to gaming. In the intro cutscene, our hero is sitting around with his lady friend on top of a tree, awkwardly scratching his head, when a sorcerer flies in and turns his girl to stone. To say the least, the hero is not happy. It's up to you to chase down the sorcerer and get revenge for this heinous act. Here's our first level. Our main character, Master Higgins, is already jogging in place with excitement. Super Adventure Island is a very linear adventure. Most of the game is just running to the right and jumping past enemies. There are only two weapons, the hammer which shoots in a short-range arc, and the boomerang which has a little better horizontal range. A more interesting item is the skateboard that lets you go really fast. Not only is it fun to use, but it teaches kids safety. Always wear a helmet. It's a cool power-up and I wish it was in the game more, but oh well. Something weird about this game is that you have to eat fruit constantly to survive. If you don't collect the fruit, a meter at the top of the screen will slowly drain. When it runs out, you starve and die. I'm not sure why the game developers included this. Now I know the hero Master Higgins is a little on the chubby side, but does that really mean he has to eat entire pineapples and watermelons to survive on a daily basis? I mean, he's not freaking Kirby. Let's just say that when I play a side-scroller, I want to run, jump, and fight enemies, not worry about food. It's not a sim, it's a platformer, and that's just tedious. Another annoying thing about the game is the damage system. Once you get hit, you die. Gotta start the level over again. There aren't even power-ups to give you more health, that's it. This makes the game really challenging, but not necessarily in a good way. I prefer it when games let you take a few hits before you die, like in Mega Man X. That way you can focus on the action instead of worrying about even touching an enemy. And the enemies aren't even that tough, like these penguins. Are you telling me a little penguin could kill a grown man in one blow? Simply ludicrous. Super Adventure Island does have quite a few good aspects though. First is the graphics. For an early Super Nintendo game, the sprites are detailed, the levels all look different, and the color scheme is bright and cheerful. The levels are in a tropical setting at first, but then they branch off in a million directions. There's always somewhere new. And there's a pretty wide array of enemies like shell creatures, obese walruses, and little dinosaurs floating on balloons. It's pretty enjoyable to fight your way through all these cartoony monsters and wreak havoc. Also, the music is great. True, there aren't any orchestral Zelda-ish epics, but there are a lot of cheerful island tunes with really cool funky beats. They squeeze some nice drum sounds out of the Super Nintendo hardware, and it's pretty impressive to hear. Back to my complaining though. The controls are nothing amazing. First of all, you can't dash. That means you can't build up momentum when you jump, which is really disappointing to me. The only way to jump long distances is to use a super jump. To pull this off, you need to crouch and then jump. Just like in Super Mario Bros. 2, you jump up to a really high level. I admit, I have to give Super Adventure Island props for resurrecting this old jumping style, but really it's not as good as just a simple dash jump. So the controls are just a little awkward. You may be wondering, what makes Super Adventure Island a pretty well-respected game? Well, it has a certain charm to it. The levels are varied and for the most part interesting, the graphics are fun and cartoonish, and the music is catchy. True, there are downsides that bring down the game a bit. It's certainly no classic, but still, it's an entertaining game with an interesting feel. Things to make it better. Put in a life bar. Instant deaths were already outdated and frustrating when this game was released. Don't make it mandatory to collect fruit, that's just tedious. Put in a dash button. It would have been an easy feature to implement, but they didn't, out of laziness no doubt. And finally, a password system would be nice. This game's not very long, but it is hard to beat in one sitting, and it'd be nice. In conclusion, Super Adventure Island is a pretty good game. It's at least above average. On my scale, it scores a 6 out of 10. So that was my quick review of Super Adventure Island. Hopefully I'll get a chance to review its sequel, Super Adventure Island 2, in the future, because I love talking about these old platformers. Well, thanks for watching. This has been a SNES Man review, and I'll talk to you again sometime soon.